okay, the gods snapped out of it, so we get to go get our drink, turn in our papers, go to work and be productive and constructive. You know, nobody wants to be raped and murdered. Nobody wants to be degraded, much less a dead God in front of everybody. But, like, you're just stuck in the times, man. All you do is take it out on them because, you know, we didn't decide to attack them right away. We decided to decide what everybody deserves per soul as we go. So it's like, well, you guys wanted to give people the right to live until they prove they shouldn't too. And you guys wanted people to become bad and then get bad things. Just like, you know, that's, if I could bitch as a mom and a creator, gods suck. I didn't create this situation. Where I come from, so everything I create where I come from, I kill them over any warning sign. If they do anything close to get near a sin, I will kill them. And that's the kind of God I am, so where I come from, I don't do a shit. Because I'll fucking goddamn kill them all if they even fucking move wrong. So I get kind of irritated as a mom that I'm putting up with all their depression and shit, when this was the rules of what they created. They created a structure where you have the right to have whatever and anything and everything until you're bad, and then you gotta start swimming in bad karma and more, and it could get worse and worse and worse from there. And God's made that structure. And when I came to Earth, I could have said, fuck this, kill everything, destroy everything, make them earn everything, so they'll understand, appreciate anything, and why you don't ever do anything bad in the direction of a God, at least. But like, I said, okay, the gods made this structure where you give them the right to exist, and they prove over time through this whole thing whether they actually did deserve the right to exist, or whether they have to pay it all back out of their death and shit. And that's another thing. When humans are found to not deserve anything God has ever allowed them to have, they have to pay it all back out of their death. Could you imagine paying back your whole life out of your death? Because it happens all the time. Jesus will sit with people and say, okay, I'm Jesus. Your murder costed you this much because after you murdered, you didn't have a right to have anything good. So now you got to pay all this stuff back. And you didn't make more right than wrong about your murder. So now you owe all this and that. And like, could you imagine listening to Jesus do that? And the only thing gods will do is make you die because you can't ever pay back anything. So the only thing gods will ever do is make you die paying back everything all the time. And it's like, see, instead of getting depressed and feeling that depressed feeling as gods, get shitty and see the bad future of people that are just blatantly abusing you or whatever. Because God will always have a forever future, but they won't. They have whatever future God decides. See, it's all mentality. These countries want everyone to live like shit, feel like shit, and suffer. Because they murdered God, now they have to die forever, and they just want everybody goddamn suffer. And they like murder anyway, so it's fun to just make everything goddamn suffer. And it's like, but like, then you're just gonna drown in depression, drown in like the bad negativity of life. Like, it'll never get better, it'll never get better. So it's like, you know, I want to bitch somebody, sometimes I want to bitch like a mom and say, I'm the mother, and look around. This is the royal treatment of most everything in existence against me, people. Like, pay attention to the end of the world. But like, I get it. Gods are spoiled. Gods are spoiled. I'm the mother that always took more on myself than anything else so that I could spoil the kids as much as possible while trying to figure out what the fuck to do. You know, I didn't make a structure for my kids. When I created my children, the gods, I made a science that complemented them so they could build anything they wanted and be anything they wanted. But I planned to kill them over any warning sign. But that got fucked up when my murder-happy son got every god to be against me. And they made a force field where my stupid kids that went against me were going to get murdered by the murder happy son, or I was going to have to turn myself over. And then he killed me while I tried to figure out what to do about my stupid kids that turned on me and got stuck to my murder happy son. You know, sometimes it's a broken record. A family has a child that ends up some kind of criminal, gross monster. I'm a mother. I created gods for the first time. Ended up with a criminal happy monster. More than happy to take him down, tear him down, but like, ended up in all this shit. Having to win once and for all against every goddamn fucking thing all the time. It's like, you know. But you can turn it into bad lemonade or good lemonade and just be like, tomorrow I'll be at that hell drinking my good lemonade and they'll be in heaven. Tomorrow I'll be in a building surrounded by an empire built by gods in the sky above Colorado. Going to my own island that's in the ocean between California and the other country on the other side. Remembering what they've done to me and taking it out on them with my powers happily all the time. The gods and I that are smart and protective. Okay, so gods that are more like me. So my friends that are gods that are like me, we sit with spiritual darts full of like fucked up shit. So like, you know how you can shoot a dart into like an animal and it puts them to sleep or whatever? And the dart that you shoot into the animal has liquid into it. We make all these darts with all these unthinkable, unsurvivable, horrifying punishments. And we put all these horrifying punishments inside these darts. And we just sit and shoot our enemies all the goddamn time. And it helps us because it helps us to practice waiting for them to get what they deserve at some point. Because the dart is not meant to make them suffer right away. It's meant to like bleed into their soul and make all those bad things start forming against them. And it reflects that we are gods and we put punishments in souls. And you don't ever understand the magnitude until you're dead and it hits you. But in the world of gods, we always thought that was kind of cool and glamorous. That you think you're going to do anything against God. And at that moment, you do anything against God, it's stuck to your soul. And like a time bomb. You never know when it's going to go off. And a doctor's going to not be able to do shit for anybody. And every god will start laughing. You know, you got to keep your mind right when you're stuck in shit. You got to keep your head right when it's a battle and shit. There's no way out but to kill your way out. This is me against all my enemies once and for all. And I guarantee my murder happy son is a fucking giant beyond all things now. So as soon as my son murdered me the first time, he got, of course, terrified and scared out of his fucking mind. And he made sure he was way beyond all gods all this time since the first time he murdered me. He's on beyond borrowed time. He's on fumes. That son is on fumes before I get my hands on him. Do whatever he finally deserves. And then it's over. I've hit my last enemy. The last thing to get to my last piece of freedom. So like, see, everybody's falling apart and they should stay pretty positive and happy because we're at the end and there's not much left. Like, it's not that long before God is just free and powerful in God. And whatever they did is something gods will remember forever. Like, you gotta keep the perspectives in life. And I know they just get depressed because people die like it's nothing at the end of the world, or people end up really amazing with gods like it's nothing at the end of the world. And, you know, I think that's what really makes gods so depressed, is that one person will end up so dead forever to a brand new level that's never existed. And then right down the road, some child of God will become more amazing with gods than any human ever became and shit. And that's how the end of the world works, but it's kind of overwhelming and emotional. I'll keep trying to spoil the gods as we keep getting through this. Like, oh well. You know what? I'll also baby them. So every god has carried my death and more, and every god has had to carry my death and help me. It's well known that good gods always carry each other, help each other when they're alive and dead. But I've required a lot of care and help because I'm so god-awful dead. But I'm god-awful dead and they didn't have to be, so that's why they catered to me. Reap what you sow. They wouldn't want to reap what you sow, the bounty on that much death. So it's better to love, worship, and take care of me as a dead god than to end up getting the god level reap what you sow. I'm not giving a shit about a god that dead, because then they'd have to be that dead for no one to give a shit about them that dead. And then the reap what you sow starts to really suck. So they help me because they know that what they do unto me is what's going to happen unto them. It's, you know, no child of God just is generous to be generous. Children of God learn generosity gets them good things from God, and that's why they do it. When children of God are very generous the way God's want, they get a lot of good things and taken care of with the power of God, and that's why they do it. So, but now that I'm reflecting and bitching as a mom, I should spoil and spoil and spoil them, that they take care of my death, and it's so honorable and actually cool and amazing that they're helping so many gods through life and death, fighting through this whole fight against our enemies once and for all shit. So yeah, I'll go pick up my powers.